Hi and warm welcome to everyone. Today, me Divas Sapkota, along with my group members Roshan Chaudhary, Avinash Pokhel, Samundra Paul, and Kishore Adhikari. We are going to give a brief introduction video presentation on representing group S121 on the topic of monopolistic competition and oligopolistic competition, along with its characteristics and examples, which is included in our subject, international trade and enterprise. We have divided our presentation into 5 parts. The introduction and the conclusion will be given by me, and characteristics of the monopolistic competition by Roshan Chaudhary, and the characteristics of oligopolistic competition by Samundra Paudel. Similarly, the examples of monopolistic competition by Avinash Pokhel and the examples of oligopolistic competition by Kishore Adhikari. So that was the brief introduction about our topic. Now I would like to move on the main topic. So the market structure is defined by the buyers and sellers, their interdependency, and the bargaining power and the industry attractiveness. Basically, there are 4 types of market structure. Due to their different characteristics, they can be defined uniquely. But in this presentation, we are going to explain only on the 2 types of market structure: the monopolistic competition and the oligopolistic competition market structure. So generally speaking, a monopolistic competition is a type of imperfect competition, such that there are many producers that sell the products that are differentiated from one another. And the oligopolistic competition is a competitive situation in which there are only a few sellers. Now, in this market structure, the number of buyers and sellers differs. This market differs regarding the demand curve, equilibrium, bargaining power, and competitive rivalry. In this presentation, we have taken Australian restaurant business and the US automobile company as monopolistic and the oligopolistic competition respectively. Now, well, that was my presentation part. Now I would like to call Mr. Roshan Chaudhary to continue with this part. Thank you. Go.
Thank you, Divas. And I'm going to talk about my part, which is monopolistic and its characteristic. Before saying anything, I'd like to talk something about the monopolistic competition. It's a special form of imperfect competition in which the market structure is different, but they sell similar kind of products. And in this competition, buyer and the sellers do not have better knowledge of the quality of the product. And now I like to move on the characteristic part. The first and the main characteristic of the monopolistic market is the involvement of the large number of buyers and sellers. And the second one is the characteristic is the differentiation of the product based on the type, label, and the packaging. And the next characteristic is there is no barrier to enter and the exit in this market. Furthermore, the customers will have very less bargaining power in this kind of market, because in this kind of market the price is decided by the companies. The monopolistic market also resembles the demand elasticity, as it depends on the factors. And the last characteristic is there is very less competition, as one seller is independent of the other, as they have their own selling sims. This is my part, and now I'd like to call my friend Samundra to explain his part. Thank you.
Thank you, Roshan. I am Samundra Paudel, and I would like to continue my part in this presentation. I would like to talk about oligopoly market structure. The term oligopoly is derived from 2 Greek words, oligo and polyn. Oligo means a few and polyn means to sell. So oligopoly is a kind of market structure which has only few number of firms that competes with each other. Now I would like to talk about characteristics. This kind of market is dominated by the large seller, but the number of this seller is small. Based on our research, most often the number remains within 10. And the next characteristic is all firms under oligopoly market enjoys full independence regarding taking any kind of decision, but the decision that one company makes gets influenced by the decision or action made by other companies. The cost of advertising on oligopoly market is high, as the existing firm in the industry offer similar types of product. All firms try to promote by doing lots of advertisement. Under this market, advertising is a matter of life or death for any company. There is huge competition found in this kind of market. Due to the low number of firms operating in this market, everyone wants to be the market leader. There is no barrier for entry and exit in this market, but the fact is that hardly any company wants to enter into this kind of market due to huge competition, economies of scale. The other important characteristic of this market structure is its stable price factor. Companies under this market structure hardly change the price of their product. Whenever one company reduces the price, other company will reduce the price more than the first one. And the last characteristic is about demand curve. The demand curve under this market structure is very hard to draw. The demand curve is always independent because any actions or a decision made by any company affects the other. That was my part. For continuing this presentation, I would like to call Avinash. Thank you.
Thanks, Samudra. While talking about the monopolistic market, it involves large number of sellers offering similar kind of products in the market. While talking about the examples of monopolistic market, Australian restaurant business seems to be the best suited one. According to the survey of 2017, there are almost 22,000 Australian restaurant business operating. This restaurant business can enter and exit in the market very easily. Australian restaurant business are also allowed to, offer various promotional schemes, discounts, or other means to attract more customers for similar kind of foods. Whereas the differentiation will be based upon the quality, taste, brand, etc. Also, the buyers in the Australian restaurant business enjoys zero bargaining power, and hence the owners of the restaurants will have full independence in setting the prices. And the only drawback of Australian market is the lack of market control, or the monopolistic market as well, as defined in Joe's report in 2014. Since Australian restaurant business enjoys elasticity of demand, the number of buyers and sellers are huge. The sellers are independent in setting the prices, and the bargaining power of customer is zero. We can suggest that Australian restaurant business is the best suited for an example of a monopolistic market. Thank you.
Thank you, Avinash. I'd like to present on some examples of oligopolistic market competition. It is already known that the oligopoly market has got a few number of competition in any industry, and all the firms are highly structured regarding the actions taken by other firms. In the world, many examples of oligopoly competition can be found. The automobile company in USA is an example of oligopoly competition, as mentioned by the author Sumner in his publication 2018. In USA, there are 6 major automobile companies. They are General Motors, Ford, Honda, Toyota, Nissan, and Chrysler. In USA, these companies covers 90% of the market share together and compete highly with each other. Each of these companies keep a close eyes on others, and they try to provide new features, bring new technology in order to create competitive advantage. Though all of the companies create almost similar type of automobiles, but each company has its own patent copyright for their products. Though company consider the price of other cars having similar specification and offering similar kind of value while setting the price, not only setting price but also marketing plan, advertising, promotional offer, etc. In this type of market, the companies experience an application of game theory also. The automobile companies hardly make a change in pricing, because if the company reduces the price, then there will be a trading issue for the company. For example, if the Ford company reduces any of its car price, selling that, the other companies such as Nissan, Honda, Toyota might reduce the prices of similar type of car more than Ford did. This will create a backfire for the Ford and their action. As a result, all the firm will affect it negatively. In this industry, it is very hard to draw the demand curve, because any time any decision made by any company can change the whole scenario of the market. All these characteristics of USA automobile industry matches with characteristics of oligopoly market structure. Not only this, but also other factors such as high advertising promotional cost, independence of each company influencing the decision, etc. Are the characteristic of oligopoly competition market observed in automotive company in USA. Thank you.
Thanks, Kishore. Now I would like to give a short conclusion about this presentation. There are lots of differences that can be observed between these two firms' market structure regarding all the factors and variables that impact the shape of the market structure. Previously, the examples given by our friend Avinash Pokhrel and Kishore Adhikari helps to make us more clear about the two types of market structure. So the market structure on the Australian business represents the monopolistic market structure, and the US automobile company represents the oligopolistic market structure. And the number of sellers is more in the Australian business market, whereas there are only 6 sellers in the US companies. Summing up, the consumer knowledge also differs in the two types of industry due to the number of sellers and number of market offerings. Thank you.